Finally, folks, the rain finally went away. I haven't done a video, I think, since like late April. I've just been, you know, a little frustrated. It just rained and rained and rained and rained. Here I am, southeast Grand Blanc. They said in the month of May there was 3 or 4 days that didn't rain. So it's been kind of a frustrating thing, you know, wanting to build, start getting going, and you can't because it was just a mud pit out here. We did get a lot of things done through that rain. For instance, I think from my last video, when you come up this driveway, right about 4 feet behind my vehicle was a huge black walnut there, and I wanted to keep it because it looked like a really nice tree, but it just didn't make sense with the circle. You'd have to drive from here, a loop around that way, and then kind of wind around it this way. And I'm glad it's gone now. Too bad it wasn't, you know, 20 feet into the forest. But anyways, but yeah, we've been digging for the last couple days, and you know, the little part we dug in April filled like a swimming pool. I had a snapping turtle move in, I had some frogs move in. I got to hear the jokes from the family and friends, rolling my eyes while I kept hearing the same joke, you know, putting the pool in first, and you know, all the fun stuff that people get to say to you when you have a big muddy pool in your backyard that's supposed to be your house. But now, yeah, and I had to have my generator out here. We kept pumping the water out, and finally it dried up. We got 9 days of rain. You can see this is about 10 feet down from where I'm looking, and you can see that there's water still coming in a little bit just through. There must be some type of spring or water table thing right here in this corner, but we put some 21 AA down in there, and yeah, so this is kind of my daughter's therapy room in the corner here, off the print, and we just basically been transiting it all the way across. And I'll spare you the whole walk way over there, but it jogs to the right there where it's bulldozer another 50 feet to the right slightly. I don't know if you can see the stakes, but anyways, I'm glad to see it finally happening. It's kind of a massive hole. I think from my last video I was saying that with this grade starting on this high point first, by the time we get all the way to the back, we're gonna only be about 2 feet in the ground. So the basement wall will be quite a bit, you know, 6 feet anyways above the ground. But then once we do finished grade, we're gonna try to make it to where it looks kind of even. I'll you know, you can do a lot with finished grade once you're done, but you definitely don't want your house to be too low. That's why we were forced to on this side. And we didn't really want to take any dirt down on this side because the driveway, it would be nice and level coming in. So it'll look cool. You know, the house will be way up high, way back there. It'll look pretty massive, and I think it'll look nice as the cultured stone goes around on the outside, because we're putting cultured stone up to the bottom of the windows, and we're gonna have cement board siding that I think it'll just look really nice, and pick some colors that just match with the nature and the trees out here and stuff. It'll be pretty sharp. So Justin and I, we've been clearing the lot for, geez, over a year, you know, not full time, but just on and off or whenever we can get out here. So we're ahead of schedule now with the trees. Now I'm just doing fill-in work. We've just been going through with the ATV and trailer and all of our equipment, just looking for dead trees that can just go and just chop up as firewood, or any dead trees that are laying on the ground, or any trees that just look like we want to still take them down. We're still doing fine tuning. I took down a big white oak over there. Actually, about 15 minutes before I did this video, Greg just left, my excavator, which by the way is a phenomenal excavator. He has years of experience. He pushed down a big rotten oak tree that was like 16-inch diameter, and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna try to chainsaw and fell that tree when it's so rotted. And I'm glad I didn't attempt it, because it was literally hollow at the bottom. So I dodged a bullet on that one. But anyways, yeah, and so I was burning a pile, and he said, hey, do you want me to throw some of these stumps in here? And even though these stumps aren't all the way dried out and they're massive, this fire is going really hot right now. You know, I can't get any closer than like 8 feet. And I think what I'm going to keep doing is just keep putting seasoned firewood, or yeah, seasoned dry firewood in there to kind of just help keep it hot. And might take me a month or two to slowly burn through all these stumps, because I have a massive pile over there of stumps too. But it's really costly to load them up into his truck and deliver them somewhere. And people charge a lot because people don't like to deal with all these stumps. And I really don't want to dig a deep hole and bury them. I don't know, I just figured I'll just burn them. But anyways, yeah, that's the update. I'm finally getting going. The guys that are doing the footings and the walls, let him know a few days ago that we'll be done digging this in the next day or two, and so he's on board. I don't really know what his schedule is. Hopefully he's not like 3 weeks out, but he made it sound like he's pretty much ready to go too. So before you know it, we'll have the concrete done, and I'm gonna start talking to the lumberyard. And I have a lot of work and prep work to do with the steel beams before we can even start framing, because I have quite a few beams. I think there's 4 or 5 beams that literally don't sit in any concrete pocket on the foundation walls. They literally float suspended, and obviously will be secured once the joists are tied to the top and tied to the outside walls and the weight of the house is on it and the poles under there. But at first, when you have no weight on the top of those I-beams and there's nothing to tie to, I'm going to be building temporary walls. Like the pads are 3 foot by 3 foot that are the columns will literally will end up sitting on. So for now, I'm going to build 3 foot wide walls on the edge of that pad. That way I can set the I-beams and still be able to frame. And then once we have more of the framing done, maybe the deck, and we start the exterior walls, then I'm going to have a guy come in and he's actually going to set the columns, weld them right to the I-beam, anchor them to the pad. That, you know, once we know everything's plumb and true, level, square, and everything, then that's when I'll have them come out. But yeah, that's going to be a process just to do that part. And then since I've done my last video, I don't think I covered. Originally, we were going to go above overhead power lines, and then because I didn't know that they were even going to allow me to do underground here, and then the guy said, well, why don't you do underground? Because he said that we would literally have to cut 30-foot width of all of these trees, which I don't want to lose these trees. I mean, these trees are awesome, and you almost have to respect them because they're so old. They're like, some of these are like, geez, some of them I think are about 150 years old, the ones on the property line. I mean, they're like 2.5 foot diameter, 3 foot diameter oak trees. But anyways, look at how this black walnut's actually sprouting a new tree out of the stump. Anyways, yeah, since my last video, we made this trail through here because they're gonna underground 1400 volt primary line to a transformer all the way down the property line, about 400 to 500 feet. And then right where that black walnut stump is, about 2 feet my way, is the transformer. It's gonna sit right here. They said to just dump like a yard or two of 21 AA, some driveway stone or something here. Then secondary will come at a right angle from here, and it's gonna go right through here underground. So that's why I chopped these trees down. This will be a 3-inch PVC, no, I'm sorry, 4-inch PVC rigid conduit, schedule 40, I believe, all the way through here. And it's kind of convenient because it's originally where I wanted the electricity anyways. There's this back wall it just works out good because you won't be able to see the electrical utilities or anything like that from the front of the house. You won't be able to see the gas meter because the gas meter is going to go on the back right, the front right, I should say. And this is right where that stump's sitting is going to be where my electrical service is coming in. I think I talked about this on another video. Yeah, there's the stake. So there's a corner of this wall, and this is kind of the north side, so you can't see this from the driveway. And we were gonna do temp service and, you know, actually get temp service set up, but they said that from the transformer you can literally only be like, I think it's 10 to 15 feet away from the transformer. So then I'm still gonna be like 180 to 250 feet away from the house, which is not a big deal. You can run cords and all that, but then you got to set it up. They charge it $350, and then you got to pull the electrical permit early to get the temporary service approved. And then they said, well, if I go ahead and just run my generator and build the bottom, you know, build the deck of the house, and then build just that one wall, that one exterior wall, I can just go ahead and pull my permanent service. And they said that I can save $3 a foot if I just put this 4-inch line in myself. So I'm probably just going to have Greg dig a trench with his 3-foot wide bucket and dig that all the way through, fill it like with like maybe 4 inches of sand, put the pipe in, put another 4 inches of sand on top of that. The reason why you do that is you don't want any sharp rocks or clay or anything like that putting pressure on an electrical pipe. You want to, if you can, put some soft sand around a pipe, no matter what kind of pipe it is, if you're putting it underground, if you can. And then, yeah, that's gonna make it last a lot longer, be safer, it'll be drier if you ever have to re-pull the pipe, if your wire ever goes bad. But yeah, the reason why I'm talking about that is because that will be one of the next things that'll be happening. In my area, since you probably get a lot of people that say, hey, I'm gonna build a house, then they end up putting like maybe their mobile home or some type of, I don't know, igloo or something, and they never really get around to building their house. Then they end up with a whole bunch of electrical services that really aren't being used. So here they're requiring, they will not start any of this, not even the primary, until I actually have my foundation walls poured. That's kind of me saying, hey, I'm committed to this. Can you commit to me and start putting in the service? Which is fair. I mean, I wouldn't blame them. I see the power company's side of that. So it'd be nice if they just take my word and start doing this now so it's all ready, but they won't, and that's fine. So, and then up the front, the electrical and the gas line is going to be in the same trench to a point, and then over there, of course, the electrical will keep going back that way. But then up the front, the gas line is going to Y off another separate trench under my driveway, and then hit the backside up over this hill towards the pond side. That way, when you pull up, or there's just not going to be any utilities that you can see, which is great. So anyways, that wraps it up. We've been busy, and so glad it's not raining anymore. All right, signing off.